What do you want in your life?
Start walking. You got to start walking because the perspective is not going to change. You have to start moving forward. You have to start taking steps in order to improve your vision, improve your perspective, change your perspective, make some kind of progress. And worst case scenario, you figure out that you walked the wrong direction. Okay. Now you can go walk in the other direction. And that's going to be fine. But standing there lost and not doing anything is just waiting to die, waiting to starve to death. Don't let that happen.
My biggest fear in life is if there is a final judgment and you talk to something much bigger than you. I don't want to sit down and have a conversation with something that says, you're in heaven. This is what you should have been on earth. Thinking about how much I left on the table for fear, for not willing to go over the wall and over the next wall and over the next wall. So in my mind, I believe that.
Talk about the importance of nothing. You get up every day, you're entitled to nothing. Nobody owes you nothing. You could have talent, but if you don't have discipline and you don't execute, you don't focus, what do you get? Nothing. If you're complacent and not paying attention to detail, what does that get you? Nothing. Nothing is acceptable but your best. So we need to be, everything is determined by what you do and you trying to be your best so that you can build on positive performance so that, and that's the only thing, there should be nothing else.
We're all in a fight. Life's a fight. Different ways, different forms, but life's a fight. Whether it's yesterday, today, or tomorrow, there's a fight in front of you, somewhere. It is harder to quit than it is to fight. When you quit, and you think that's your great escape, you think that's the parachute. No, that's the terminal sentence where you're confined to a prison. You know what the prison's name is? Regret.
And my three questions are, what do you want? How badly do you want it? And how much are you willing to suffer? And very often, everything revolves around the first question, what do you want? Because a lot of people are unclear what they want from life. They don't sit down and think through. We are writing our own life story every day, and yet we don't think about it. Who do we want to be? Where do we want to live? What life do we want to lead? When we've finished our life, come to the end of our life and look back, what do we want to say that we've done? What do you want is a very powerful question. And then if an athlete says, I want to be the best, Bill, fine. How badly do you want it? Because you've got to pay a price to be the best. The best pay a big price. You've got to work harder, you've got to commit more, you've got to take more responsibility, you've got to deal with more ups and downs. And if we can deal with that question, how much are you willing to suffer?
I would have this anxiety about the future of like, why haven't I made it yet? Why are these other people doing better than me? Like, is this not going to work? What if I'm on the wrong path? Action alleviates anxiety. The only thing I can control is that I would work, is that I would get better. Whenever you have that feeling that things should be happening faster, use action as your coping mechanism.
It's either you have it or you don't. That sounds like excuses to me. I mean, you got to figure it out. If you really have an obsession to figure it out, you will figure it out. Every puzzle is constructed differently. Everybody has a different puzzle, man. You just got to figure out your own puzzle.
The best way to contend with problems, with issues, with adversity is action, is by taking action. The more you sit and the more you wait and the more time you spend with that adversity, with the upper hand inside your head, the worse it's going to get. And it's in your personal life too. You know, something doesn't go the way you wanted it to go. You didn't get the job you wanted. You didn't get the hire. You didn't get the promotion. you can go home and sit there and dwell on it. That's not getting you any progress. Or you say, okay, you know what? Let me do a quick analysis. Why didn't I get that promotion? Oh, it's because I didn't get this qualification, or I hadn't jumped through this gate. Okay, cool. What do I need to, let me look into how do I get to jump through that gate so next time I will get the promotion, and you start taking action. So action for me is a cure for a lot of problems that we have in life.
Decide to become a risk taker. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best.
I have a question for you. Are your dreams big enough? Why don't you dare to dream bigger?
Life is difficult. It's like, well, what if you were 90% in, or 95% in, or all in? Because you're all in anyways, right? It's a life and death game. No one gets out of this. Everyone dies. You might as well commit yourself.
If you're alive, you can get better. If you're alive right now, you can improve your condition. You can improve your situation, and it starts with improving the way you think. That's the most important thing. The way you think of things, the way you think of things, the way you address things, you've got to change that. And you got to look at things objectively, and you got to be brutally honest with yourself. And the more you bullshit yourself, the more it's going to be difficult. You're literally throwing weights on your back and making it harder to move forward.
I've been wrong more times than I've been right. I have failed more times than I've succeeded. 99% right and 100% wrong. So like they're right 99% of the time, but they're wrong 100% because the only thing that matters is the big one at the end. Because if you're going to do anything big, you have to believe that it can happen.
How do you overcome fear of failure, or fear of success, or fear of fear itself? You step. And how do you face the fear of the unknown? You step. Don't wait anymore. Don't think anymore. Don't plan anymore. Don't contemplate anymore. Don't make any more excuses or justifications. Don't rationalize anything else. No, no, and no. Instead, be aggressive. Take action now. And what is the first action that you need to take? What's the first step you need to take? The first step you need to take is just that.
I've spent a lot of time in my life sitting around wanting things to change and not being able to make them change and not thinking I could.
So this is us. This is our lives. If we don't make an effort, if we don't apply force, we don't change. Our lives will just continue as they are. That's what we're up against. And it's not easy. It takes effort because nature doesn't want to change. It just wants to keep going in that same path that it's been going on. Your nature doesn't want to change. It would rather just kind of conserve energy, just continue doing what it's doing. What we would rather continue doing what we're doing. Just that easy path, let things stay the same, just keep doing what we're doing. That's what we have to fight against.
I know you're going to have to do almost everything alone up here, but you know I'll be with you. Now, you're the one. Now you're going to have to go through hell, worse than any nightmare that you ever dreamed. In the end, I know you'll be the one standing.
That sense of urgency. Act now. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now.
Everybody gets one chance to do something great. Most people never take the chance, either because they're too scared or they don't recognize it when it spits on their shoes. This is your big chance, and you shouldn't let it go by.
You gotta go, man. You just have to go. Never wait on the right time, because the right time ain't ever coming.
After you fail, the likelihood that you're successful goes up, not down. This is the part that people miss. They fail and think it somehow decreases the likelihood of success, but it actually increases it.
There's nothing out there for me.
And that's the problem. You hung up your cape and your cow, but you didn't move on. You never went to find a life, to find someone.
Alfred, I did find someone.
I know, and you lost them. But that's all part of living, sir. But you're not living. You're just waiting.
The secret ingredient is nothing.
Huh?
You heard me. Nothing. There is no secret ingredient. To make something special, you just have to believe it's special. There is no secret ingredient.
And now I'm here without nothing, away from everyone. And I really took the time to find out, you know, who the enemy was. And it's not that it was the enemy. It was the enemy. The enemy. The enemy. The inner me.
Look at all those people down there. Do they follow the rules for what? They're letting fear lead them.
What happens if I don't?
Life's simple. You make choices and you don't look back.
Everyone thinks you're crazy until it works.
When you have these ideas of greatness, you got to go forward. Because it's not going to be a right time. Just go.
But sooner or later, it's something that's inside of you just has to want it.
Like, if you are angry, use it. If you are sad, use it. Because, like, what else are you going to do with it? Like, you might as well let it help you.
I gotta have fear, because without fear, there is no room for courage. Because if I'm not scared of losing anything, where does courage exist?
If you're going to do it, do it. If you have the chance, do it. Don't pause. Instinct, man. If you got an instinct, go at it. Throw deep.
How much longer are you going to avoid what you are capable of doing in order to continue with what you are comfortable doing? And I just let that sit. And then let them reflect on that question. Because it could be the very thing they need to realize it's them stopping them.
It's always darkest before the dawn. You have to push through the hard to get to the place you're trying to get to. And when you feel the highest pressure, the highest stress, and the highest anxiety, when you're in the pursuit of something greater, it's a good indication that you're actually on the right path.
You know, people get up every day, they do the same thing. They tell themselves they're going to change their life one day, and they never do. I'm going to change mine.
When you think about changing your life, the experience can be overwhelming, because what comes to mind is this idea that we have to make drastic changes to our current situation in order to get anywhere close to where we want to be. The truth is, all it takes are small changes. Small habits applied on a consistent basis help us to achieve big results in life. There is no such thing as an overnight success. Only over time success.
An ode to people who don't believe in themselves. What comes first, belief or action? Do you need to believe that you can do a thing before you can do it? Fake it until you make it is one option, but incredibly hard if you're introspective and have low self-belief and high standards. So what about make it until you believe it? Here are some lessons that I've learned. You can believe you're not worthy of a thing and still attain it. You can be adamant that your efforts are going to go badly and still succeed. You can grip and grasp and fear and it ruin the enjoyment and be totally unwarranted and things still go well. You can have no self-belief and show up anyway. You can want more for yourself without knowing exactly what that looks like. You can doubt the process, question your talent, be uncertain that you're making progress, disparage your accomplishments, permanently feel like you're not working hard enough no matter how hard you work, never give yourself a break, fail to fully feel gratitude, be terrified of never reaching your goals, and still end up in a place that your 20-year-old self could not imagine you'd ever get to. Self-belief is overrated. Generate evidence.
Do it. Say what you can do. Do what you say. If you can't do it, don't say you can do it. Don't over-leverage yourself. Don't over-leverage a decision and then jump in and kind of dip a toe. I think I'll try it out. No, think if you're going to try it out beforehand, but when it's time to go, dive. Finish it. Find out. Come out the other side. Don't leave it and go, ooh, if I just would have. That keeps me up at night. I think it keeps a lot of us up at night. When you half-ass something, you just don't know whether you failed or succeeded, got what you want or didn't get what you want. Finding out and looking in the mirror and going, I didn't half-ass it. I went all the way. I found out.
Those feelings of failure are so hard. They're so hard to get over, and they overwhelm people, and some people can't get past them. And then every time some new thing comes up, when you have to rise to the occasion, you have to perform, you think about that time you failed, and it f***s your head up, man. You think, I'm a loser, I can't do this, I'm going to fail, I'm going to f*** up, you know. Like, how many times have you had a bad set, and you're like, I can't do this, that's just it, I just suck. And then you define yourself that way, and you got to get over it.
It's simple. It's now or never time.
I'm now sitting, feeling, bitterness, feeling like a victim, feeling like, this isn't right. I'm making every excuse, blaming people, like this isn't cool. And I sat down and I said, you know what? It's time to rewrite the story.
I'm going to see what happens when I decide that I am qualified. What happens when I decide for myself that I'm going to do something different?
If you're about to make a change in your life and you feel uncomfortable, that's the best feeling you can have. Because for the first time in your life, you're making a decision that's going to be best for you.
You've got the gift of life. You have the privilege of being here. Do what you want. Have a dream. Go after that dream. Quit playing small. You were meant to do great things.